However, there is always the discussion of what's called a shadow gold standard, whereby you get national governments and their gold reserves, and you wonder whether or not the people who are buying this gold are buying it relative to the amount of currency that they have in issuance, whether or not they are, okay, well, when we were under the gold standard, we had this much. We're not under it anymore, but we're going to try and kind of follow it a little bit and build up our stores just in case something happens and we go back to that kind of system, or just as a prudent measure when it comes to the financial responsibilities of a government for its citizens' savings. John, what do you make of that? Because the shadow gold standard idea, it's quite prevalent, but I've never seen any kind of mainstream acceptance for it.
Well, no, I mean, look, the way the international monetary system works, gold plays almost no role whatsoever.
And yet they
However,
all own gold, though.
yeah, however, this is the thing though. All the same central banks, with only a couple exceptions, that held meaningful gold reserves under the Bretton Woods system. They pretty much, with a couple exceptions, almost all of them still do. And then you have lots of newer, younger countries that never had large holdings of gold that have been steady buyers for the last couple of decades, and in some
Yeah.
cases have built substantial gold reserves, especially when you compare those gold reserves to the size of their monetary base. And we've been talking about Russia here. Russia's gold reserves compared to the size of their monetary base are very substantial. I think it's over 70% now. I mean, that's at current market values. That is a big figure, and it's much bigger than what the U.S. ever had to back the dollar under Bretton Woods.
Yeah.
So I think it's saying a bit too much to say that there's this shadow gold standard, because that kind of implies an international system. However, I would say that the national interest in owning gold and adding incrementally to gold holdings has been on the rise, and it's been on the rise for a number of years now. And precisely why that's happening, look, every country is going to have its own explanation for why it's doing what it's doing, perhaps. But if that is the general trend, then it does tell you something. Countries are either A, uncertain about the future and the future of the dollar reserve system, which is the way the world currently works. They might be uncertain about the specific reserves that they're holding on their central bank balance sheet, and they want some credit risk-free diversification, credit and evaluation risk-free diversification. Gold's the only source to provide that is accepted internationally. And others may actually see it as a potential geopolitical weapon. Think about Russia. What if they're placed under sanctions? What if the US and other countries do try to boot them out of the SWIFT system so they can't access the international banking system? They're going to have to use something to pay for imports. Well, guess what? People would accept gold. So anyway, they're all different considerations, and yet all of them help to explain why central banks have generally been accumulating gold in recent years at a rate which is cumulatively the highest since Bretton Woods ever blew up in the first place.